Hello, and welcome to my channel. It's your girl Carla, CEO and founder of Ethers Cosmos and www.etherscosmos.com, where you can get advice, tips, tricks, maybe learn something new, as well as read my blog and shop for some unique gifts or findings that I personally have or enjoy. That aside, on today's episode, if ain't nobody asked me, but I got shit to say, the snatcher people is real. I just came back from Vegas, and it's crazy because they have on their bus stops, billboards, and several other places how to be careful, and what a trafficker looked like. And some of the images that they showed was like a young teenager, an older lady, a young man, a man in a business suit. Like, it's just not the sketchy white van person that's trafficking you, and or that may attempt to do you harm, or make you disappear in these here world. Okay. And so it I saw the billboards, just like you see don't drive drunk, or that was in my day. It was a big dare initiative, but you see these billboards and you kind of like, yeah, okay, it happens. But I think I was noticed, witnessed, maybe even I don't know, notice the witness, because I come from an environment where you got to be situationally aware. And even if you seem to be aloof and a little, you still need to know what's going on. And more often than not, my way of knowing what's going on is I'm very in tune with my energy. And much like anyone else, like yourself, you can tell when someone is staring at you. I don't know what that sixth sense is, but from across the room, from across the street, from across the Walmart, I don't know, but you can tell when eyes are like, right? And I felt that twice when I was in Vegas. And let me explain. So the first time I walked into a store, and usually when you walk into a store and you have this makeup on, you are dressed in this attire, people automatically notice you and things of that nature. It's not anything that I give a damn about, because that's a personal shopper for me. I've learned through social media, if you're going to follow me around the store, baby, you're going to be my personal assistant until I check out. And if my bags are heavy, then I'll employ you to carry my things. I enjoy it. So anyway, the young man was standing on a step stool, as sometimes they do, so that they can see all heads in the store. No big deal. I walk in, and he's looking past me. And so, situationally aware, I walk past him, I'm looking at my items, and I glanced to my right, which was out of the store, and I saw a young man. I don't know his nationality. I know what he appeared to look like to me, but I have no idea, so I'm not even gonna throw that out there. It's just a young man. And so as I continued on, I went down a couple of aisles. This was a gift store, gift shop, or whatever. And I went down a couple of aisles, and must be the mailman. Yeah, it was the mailman. And so I get down one aisle, and at the end cap, the far end cap of that same aisle, that was that young man, or what I thought was a young man, because I looked at him, slightly in my peripheral. And we know my eyes don't actually work all the time, but he had the same characteristics as the man that I thought I saw in my periphery, that the guy in the store on the stool did like the universal nod to. Now, if you don't come from a certain environment, this means nothing to you. It means nothing. But to me, it's a signal, right? Like, hey, what's up? Or I see you, or what are you doing? Or here, got one. I don't know what it means to anyone else, but I come from a particular place. So anyway, every aisle I went down, this is a long ass story, right? But every aisle I went down, he's at the end cap. Now, I wasn't in Vegas alone, and I'm kind of grateful now because I was gonna go alone, but I'm not kind of grateful. I'm very grateful that I didn't go it alone, because as soon as my companion uh, uh, came to meet with me and was like, "Hey, did you find anything?" And I'm like, "No, I ain't find nothing yet." And immediately, gone. Little guy just walks right back out the store. I don't mention anything to my companion, and I don't say anything to anyone because I wasn't 100% sure, but that's what I experienced. The second time, I was actually in my hotel casino, like in my hotel where I was staying. And this gentleman, whom I never saw his face, I just saw his profile. He had a very prominent, sharp nose, very prominent and sharp nose. What that means to you is your business, but okay. But that's all I could see, is because he turned to the right and he was walking in front of me. Now, it was how he was walking in front of me that caused me to check my energy. He was walking with his hand behind his back, but with his hand behind his back, his phone was facing me, the camera. The back of his phone, where the iPhone camera would be, was facing me. Now, he never turned around to look at me. So I was like, is this person videotaping me? Because it's weird. His phone was in the palm of his hand like that, but facing me. And so I was like, no. And so I dipped off to the left and went into a couple clusters of the slot machines. Sure enough, he dipped off to the left. So I'm like, he must have someone on that phone that's telling him which way I go. And so I did a couple more turns, or, appearing to look for a machine that I wanted to play. And no more than one cluster away, that's where he was. And so I had the thought, wait, what if some of these traffickers have rooms in the hotel, so when they snatch you, they, do whatever they do to you to render you incapacitated, and then they take you to a room. Not a suspicious activity, right? Damn. Like, wow. That was the thought that came through my mind. And as love, fate, protection, call it whatever you want, would have it, my companion appeared and was like, hey, what you getting into? And I'm like, nothing, chilling. And as I'm like, oh, nothing, chilling, and I look back, gone. The guy's gone. So if you go to Vegas, and I don't even know where else this is happening, because I do live in a bit of a bubble. And as I suspect, quite a bit of us live in our own little personal echo chambers and or bubbles. But if you go outside your bubble, be situationally aware. That means don't take for granted that this is a safe, and do take for granted that this is a safe and beautiful place, because those were two instances that I noticed in a jillion moments that I had, and had the best effing time in that city. And that nothing takes away from that. But just wherever you travel outside of your normal, and even in your normal spaces, be situationally aware. Because the second thing that came to my mind is, I feel really bad for the young women and the young men, or the young whenever you're identifying yourself as that like to travel alone or travel or get like when you go to Vegas, you kind of want to get like all the way ripped, right? All the way tore up, like in intoxicated, inebriated, and under the influence of something. You might have to pull that back a little bit in some of these situations, because that inability to self-regulate could very well cost you your freedom, not for incarceration purposes, but for abduction purposes, and it very well could cost you your life. So that was a long ass, ain't nobody asked me, but I got shit to say. The takeaway to this is be situationally aware. Know what's going on. Don't assume that because you are familiar or you have a certain set of skills that someone won't try to interject themselves into your experience without your permission. So just be aware. I'm not telling you to be hyper vigilant, because that will be a trauma response. I'm telling you, just be aware of what's around you, your environment. Be situationally and environmentally present. Not on your phone, not scrolling through TikTok as you walk, because your ignorance of what's around you could be your demise. Until next time, see you on the flip side.